if Muslims went to space, which way would we pray? How would we pray? If Muslims went to space, how would we do wudhu? And all the other stuff that we got to do? What time would we pray? Do you know how many Muslim astronauts have been in space? Well, Haza al-Mansouri has just returned from the International Space Station, and he was the 11th Muslim astronaut to travel way up high to the stars. Thanks to him and many of the other astronauts who traveled before him, we've learned quite a few lessons, and the scholars have come up with a few rulings to help Muslim astronauts. And who knows, in a few years, you could even be traveling to space thanks to technological advances. I don't think I'm going to go there anytime soon unless they make XXL spacesuits. But if you ever go, these are your tips to follow for Salah, inshallah. Thankfully for us, a bunch of Malaysian scientists and scholars, 150 to be exact, got together and produced an amazing handbook for any Muslim astronauts who are traveling out to space. It's called A Guideline of Performing Ibadah at the International Space Station. Now, this document was compiled for Sheikh Muzaffar, Malaysia's first astronaut who traveled out to space in 2007 in the month of Ramadan. Here are a few of the guidelines that are covered. Istinja, which is to thoroughly clean oneself after relieving yourself. Now, it would be dangerous to use a lorta out there, or a bodna, whatever you call it. So, the Malaysian scholars and shuyukh, who all compiled together, advise that you use wet wipes. A very easy solution for a very tricky problem. Now, when it comes to performing wudu in space, it can be a tricky one, especially with the lack of water and having to be very careful with water. It can go floating about everywhere. So what the scholars and scientists have advised is that you perform tayammum, which is dry wudu. You place both your palms onto a dry surface and then you will wipe over the necessary parts of your body. Now you're ready for Salah. But the question is, which direction do you face when you're in space? Alhamdulillah, the scholars have given us the advice that when you are in space, you should try your best to face the Kaaba. And if you cannot face the Kaaba, you should at least try to face Earth. And if you cannot face Earth throughout the entire Salah, you should begin by facing Earth and then continue with your Salah as normal. Now, another issue that you might face is what time to perform Salah. When is Fajr? When is Zuhr? When is Asr? Etc. The scholars have advised that you follow the time of the location that you set off from. So if I was to set off to space from London, I would follow the London time for Salah. If you were to set off from Malaysia, you would follow the time in Malaysia for Salah, and so forth. Now, we don't know what tomorrow holds. We could see a colony on Mars, maybe even the first masjid there. But my brothers and sisters, we know that we are here on earth today. Alhamdulillah, by the permission of Allah, we have the ability to pray wherever we are. You could be on Mars, you could be under the sea, you could be on a ship, you could be anywhere. But try and pray your Salah on time, inshallah, and make sure you remind your fellow brothers and sisters to do the same. For more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button. You heard it, right? Subscribe. Do that. Button. It's not haram. Press it.